That's right. Hello, world. And hello, Jackson, Mississippi, if that's all we got. Hey, glad to have you back. Welcome to
Yes.
SK Podcast. I am Rosario.
And I am Steinbrink.
Yes, and we are here, and I hope y'all had a good week. We have had a great week. I'm feeling good where the movement's headed because they getting ticked off.
Yes.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Love seeing this um civil disobedience going on around the world.
We sure are. Yeah, civil.
Yes.
It's very civil.
Very civil.
The way it should be. You be disobedient, you better be civil.
Yeah.
But look, I don't want to hop into that right now. I want you guys to check out this video right now. It actually is some of our own SK footage. All right, so we got the copyrights to
We're
this
on
stuff.
stage,
We
y'all.
got the royalties
We're
to
on
this
stage.
video.
Yeah.
But anyway, look very closely. It's a little long. The audio sucks. Pay attention. You know, we got to
Watch all the way to the end too.
Yeah, check out the end, see if it looks familiar.
See if it looks any familiar.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen it before.
That's right.
All right.
Why did you start Big Studio? Just tell us briefly about that and what expression you had.
Sure. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. We started Big Studio because we believe that money does help meet our material needs, but with every material reality, there are immaterial realities attached to it. No amount of money that you give to someone that just lost a child in a car accident is going to heal the hurt that comes along with it. But we know that Jesus does. And so, when everyone saw GoFundMe come on the scene, and they were only reaching half of the solution, they're helping people raise some money to meet material needs. He said there's a bigger solution out there, and that's bringing the hope of Jesus to these solutions. And so, by sitting on the creative platform, GiveSendGo.com, we are not the alternative to GoFundMe. We are the replacement. Was a prayer team. We paid people to call every campaign and pray with them about what they're going through. Right now we've seen millions and millions of dollars raised for everybody incarcerated in January 6th. We were the only platform.
GiveSendGo.com/AGB if you want to support Ian and his legal right there with the Ian Smith and Jim Warren from New Jersey. That's GiveSendGo.com/AGB. That's GiveSendGo.com/AGB. Thank you. So catch up to you.
All right. Well, we wanted to play that because that was the owner of Give and Go. That's Jacob Jacob Wells, and he was speaking at the Reawaken America tour, which we, so thankfully was able to be a part of. I knew before we went there that Give and Go seemed more like a straight up, good place to actually help fundraise and donate to people because GoFundMe had already been canceling a lot of people, obviously for their views and not for reasons due to violating terms of service. And so I was, really glad that it came back up. It came back up that we knew because he spoke there, and between Gab, Andrew Torba, which is the owner of Gab, has been reaching out to Give Send Go to help with the trucker convoy, since it was obviously,
Awesome.
you
Awesome.
know, they deleted, I mean, millions.
That's crazy. Like, see, that was my first time meeting Jacob Wells, and even hearing about Give Send Go. Like,
Yeah.
I am so ill informed, but I try,
Yes.
and I thank
But
God I
that's
have
what-
my cousin here that lets me know stuff, and I can, argue with her about it, and as it comes to me, like what I'm hearing the news. She gives it to me. She gives me the news. So, no, I do my
No,
own research. I'm just picking.
We
But-
both do our own set of research and
Right, in
finding out
different
things.
fields and stuff. But I mean, but no, that was my introduction to Give Send Go, and I just love, my favorite part about his whole intro to that is that he is going to be a replacement. And not only is Give Send Go going to be a replacement to GoFundMe, but it is, the Jesus culture is going to be the replacement for the future. Like, we're separating the wheat from the chaff. Like, we are separating it now. This is what Jesus meant when he said, I did not come to agree and make men think. That he came to divide. He came to
Separate.
That's right.
The true followers, and spreading his message.
That's
and
right.
and
There cannot be any compromising with darkness. We will separate light from dark, and I'm not going to get too deep with that, but I do love that Give Send Go came out and they said they're going to be the replacement. They were bold enough to speak that, and I think that we're seeing replacements in not only fundraising platforms, but we're seeing replacements in media. And that's what I love. We'll get into that a little later. We want to look at some of this trucker stuff that's going on, man. And hey, that's my people.
yeah.
I got my CDLs. But I wish I had my own. I wish I was an owner-operator where I could get out and roll out with these big boys.
Right.
But I'm not, and that's all right. I support them. And so do all those thousands of kids and families that are out there doing this stuff.
Look at those kids. Right. I know, man. I just think that's so awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That is so awesome.
Hey, let me tell you something. If I'd have seen some BLM people out there doing that, I might have supported them a little bit.
If it's
I might have-
unity, look at the unity here. That's what you don't get.
If
You
I'd
don't get
have
it.
seen that happening in Portland, or if I'd have seen that in Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever that, where all that stuff was going on, New York, where they was painting on
But
the
you
streets.
know, that's not what they're about. That's
No.
that's why it's just a shame. And then so you see this here, and this is a lot of I just want to show, you got the kids here on their own little convoy.
Isn't that awesome?
Now this is a protest. I love it. This is a protest of mandates, for restaurants. They did not, of course, open up for anyone that didn't get the jab.
Where is
so
this?
they-
This is Italy, isn't it?
Yes, this is Italy. This is Turin, Italy.
There's an L in there? sure?
That's what that's Turin.
Let me squint. I
Look at
thought
that, I
so.
can't read.
I thought so.
It's Turin, Italy.
You made me squint.
Uh-huh. But let's listen to their fiesta.
Oh, yeah.
Sole, era quanto mangiare.
Like chaos, y'all. See the chaos?
I had to do a little Roxbury reference right there.
Well, look at this. Look at this right here. Duck's supporting it too. I love it.
They're uniformed.
I know.
Those are some cool trucks.
I know.
What?
Y'all, I love
The
this. I love
different
it. It
horns.
just pumps me up when I see
It's them big rigs. Hey. Hey, forget the big wigs. We looking out for the big rigs.
the big rig.
Okay? Yeah. Coin it.
Big rigs.
Big rigs. Screw the big wigs. We don't care about the big wigs. All you sitting in behind the desk, writing out little mandates. Sorry, the people don't really want to go with it, and we're going to send in the big rigs.
Well, but look at this. The Canadian police called the Freedom Convoy a nationwide insurrection. This is an article from the Blaze, and look at this chaos, y'all. Look at this chaos happening right here.
Thank you. Did you see it? Did you see how you're saying?
It's horrible.
So sad. I can't believe that's happening right now.
We love
They're
you
giving
guys.
people hugs.
We love you guys.
We're not going anywhere.
Bring it up. Thank you. Thank you.
That's just...
Thank you. Did you see it? Did you
But
see it?
look at this. Look at this.
It just looks like a big party.
I mean, you see that, right? That's so crazy and chaotic.
That's a festival
That's so
I want to
crazy and chaotic.
That is my kind of chaos right there.
So here we've got the
It's
what
horrible.
are they? The City Council of Ottawa.
Let's see what they got to say
Let's
about
see
it.
what they got to say.
Okay.
We are on day 8 of this occupation. Our city is under siege. This group is emboldened by the lack of enforcement by every level of government. They are terrorizing our residents, torturing them with incessant honking, threatening them and preventing them from leading their lives. People cannot go to work or open their businesses. They cannot sleep, walk, shop, go to medical appointments, or enjoy their neighborhood. This group is a threat to our democracy. What we're seeing
forcing them to
is
get a
bigger
jab.
than just a city of Ottawa problem. This is a nationwide insurrection. This is madness. We need a concrete plan to put an end to this now.
Yeah, you're not going to. There's no concrete plan to stop the people. You're not going to stop the people, not that it's started, man, but I mean, insurrection, come on, this word game, this word play, golly, they just, January 6th, they
So,
just
yeah, now
pulled
they've
that
got a
from
new
that,
thing.
so they want to...
So you want to see what I remember as protests just about a year and a half ago? Let's go ahead.
Let's just look back in history just a little bit.
And not long in history either, man.
I want to
not
see
long in history.
Wasn't there some festivals going on 2020?
But look, so Elon Musk, of course, is supporting
Duh.
Give Sing Go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's supporting them. I mean, because anybody with a little bit of thinking cap on just sees the hypocrisy that's going on, the crap that went on a year and a half ago, and you're gonna defund this.
Right.
So
like,
they want to.
So stuff like this. Let me see if I can pull this
They
up.
promote and defund police, and now they want to defund private fundraising. I mean, what?
But they're going to fund stuff like this, though. I mean, they literally promoted themselves. I don't have the tweet here, but they promoted, GoFundMe promoted that they helped the garden in the CHOP area or in the Chaz area, whichever one it was called at the time. You know,
Portland.
It went from one to the other. Yes, and it was occupied. And that was their reasoning for taking it away from the truckers. So, I mean, that's just a little hypocritical there. So, I mean, that's obviously why Elon had to come out. But, you know, this is what they say.
Locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the course of the night. A second night since Jacob Blake was seen shot in the back 7 times by a police officer. And what you are seeing now, these images came and come in stark contrast to what we saw over the course of the daytime hours in Kenosha and into the early evening, which were largely peaceful demonstrations in the face of law enforcement. It wasn't until night fell that things began to get a little bit more contentious. Things were thrown back and forth. Police started using some of those crowd dispersal tactics like tear gas, even playing very loud sounds to push them out. And then what you are seeing, the common theme that ties all of this together, is an expression of anger and frustration over what people feel like has become an all too familiar story playing out in places from across the country.
Okay. I'm not gonna get too heated because I do not, but I want you guys to, like I said a second ago, put your thinking caps on, okay, and just open it up, open that mind completely up. Don't look at me as just a white guy. You know, close your eyes if you have to. What was happening in that video that we just saw? It was a reaction from people seeing a man getting shot by police. All right? There wasn't a lot of context to it. Now, in the future, now we know what Jacob Blake was. We know what he was doing. He had 3 children in the car he wasn't supposed to have in the car. He was about to take off with them. He had been already known for domestic violence and all this against the people who, I guess the woman who birthed the kids. Anyway, this is over one man that got shot.
Yep.
Now, how many millions of people across this world have been jabbed with an experimental drug from Big Pharma? How many adverse reactions have we just seen on VAERS, which is a low number compared to what the real number is? I want you to decipher from the 2 demonstrations that are happening there. One burned a city down because one criminal got shot in the back.
Right.
Whereas another
Violent
one
criminals, too.
is standing up legally, peacefully, protesting the mandates that are affecting millions, not even just one race. Okay?
Many.
We get the racism part of what happened in BLM. We get it. We don't like it either. There's other ways to do it other than burning buildings down.
But you know what?
And you can take a point from Canadians that are protesting and staying right there doing it peacefully. I'm sorry, man. My head was about to pop from just holding in all the righteous anger that I have over this subject, because it's just that's too stark of a difference. And for them, you should see the hypocrisy from the mainstream media, from the people that are actually supporting the movements that GoFundMe is trying to do, like taking away this grassroots.
Well, you know, they want to keep saying
fundraising.
racism. I mean, I think it was 70% of U.S. black citizens have not taken the
70?
vaccine. Yeah, 70% have not taken the vaccine, and they are also being, you know, segregated along with everybody else. It's not segregation between races. It's segregation, forced segregation from mandates.
Right.
You're either vax or, quote, anti-vax. And it's so funny that they say vaccine mandates.
You know what's cool?
That's what it is. Because even people who have been vaccinated have come out saying you should not be forced to get this.
Right.
You should have informed consent. You should agree to it.
I have personal friends that feel that way.
Yeah.
They have been vaccinated because they felt the pressure from their employer or whatever, and they're like, hey,
no one should be forced to do that.
They
and
agree.
you know, they're going around playing with definitions of things, and they're going around saying, oh, well, now being vaccinated is not being inoculated from a disease. It's just, you know, lowering your symptoms if you get it. Well, that's not a vaccination, but they're playing around with that.
And it's not. It's a complete lie. I'm sorry. I don't have to do a controlled experiment in a lab to know that. Me personally, I have my wife. Okay, I'll give you, and I don't know if I brought this up on the last podcast, because I know we weren't wanting to make it all about vaccines, but that's what this is about. I mean, it's just that's what our culture is drenched in right now, is either getting rid of these vaccines or whatever, mandating them and making it a part of our lives now.
Yeah, they're
But
forcing this conversation,
my
and they're losing, by the way.
and I'll try to make this quick, but one small experiment that I have in my personal life, okay? 10 employees in my wife's work field that she does. Okay, there's 10 people. Okay, 3 of them are unvaccinated, including my wife. So that's including my wife, there's 3. So the other 7 are vaccinated. Okay. 1 of the 3 unvaccinated got COVID, this last Omicron thingy. Okay. 7 of the vaccinated got sick and got COVID. So I'm sorry, I don't need a whole panel of scientists telling me anything to see that that's what I mean. The vaccines are not doing
Mm-mm.
what they're saying that they're supposed to do, and they know that. They know that it's a complete lie.
And so, for certain people who mainly just seek out truth and want the truth to be told, no matter what side that they are on, they just want to know the truth. And they're trying to put people on their shows to promote them if they have enough credentials and they have enough background checks. I would think the person that helped invent this technology that's being put in these vaccines would be a pretty good credible source. Along with people who have actually worked with multiple cases and have their own studies that they've done, and that they can show to someone to get their voice across. And this arbiter of truth, people who are saying, oh, well, it wasn't said by this one group or this one person, then it must not be true. That this is going down, y'all. This is going down so 1984 style.
Dude, this is going down 1919 style. We didn't have time to put it in there, but literally there is a picture of I think it's Ontario, Canada in 1919 protesting what? Mandated vaccine. So that just shows you the ridiculousness of the argument that we're having 100 years later.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's been happening for how long?
If we had to put a number on it, I'd say about 5,000, 6,000 years.
Yeah,
maybe.
almost since the beginning of time, really. In
That's
one way or
my
another.
beginning of time.
Julius Caesar, you had people in the streets protesting as well.
Right.
We never have had a tame society.
But the Lord has blessed us with this technology to look back and see what our history did. Yeah, that's great. Like literally, like just in the past 30 years, we're able to very quickly and efficiently look at what happened in the past, and just with photography and all this. So that photo of what was going on 100 years ago in the same region should show you. Things. Come on, man. Things haven't really changed, but now they can so drastically. And that goes to the point of the protests you were showing. Thank you, Lord, for showing the stark difference in what they were protesting about, how they went about protesting, what we're protesting about, and what we're protesting against. Like that shows the people that are of a right mind, that have a sound mind, that can reason.
Yeah.
That shows you what we're about. Okay, we are not wanting this movement to get to where it got to with that movement in 2020.
Yeah.
Which was for
all
I don't want to sound
all the wrong reasons.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Look, cops shouldn't be over aggressive. Cops shouldn't be, doing those certain things. There are bad eggs everywhere. They
should be protecting our rights.
Yeah,
because rights were definitely being trampled whenever bombs were being thrown into businesses to set fires, and like the Wendy's burning down, the AutoZone burning down. That's
Oh, it was
that's
a
where it needed
list.
to have protection of rights. That person's property was burning down.
Yeah, that Ottawa city council lady talking about people need to go back to their businesses. Well, a year and a half ago they couldn't because it got burned down. Like these truckers aren't running their trucks into businesses. They're
No,
sitting there and honking. Yeah, it's
honking.
annoying. Okay, yeah, y'all got a little road rage because you're hearing some big honks all
You
day
live in
long.
Ottawa. You know where Ottawa is. You had to have known that at some point something like this may happen.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like being in Washington D.C. and being all upset whenever someone's having a protest. It's like, dude, you moved to Washington D.C. What
Yeah.
did you think was going to happen? I mean, seriously.
That's the place that you gotta protest. That's the
Yep.
place where we, the people, run it, and the people that we put in there, we're gonna come up there and let you know we are not pleased with how you're representing us. So that's how they
And
gotta do it.
I just love how just seeing this awakening, it's just this swell of
Oh, me too,
feeling that
girl.
everybody's coming together at the time that they're coming together. The people that are coming, I mean, you got Bill Maher, you got Joe Rogan, you got so many people who
We're on
just
different.
a year and a half
Right.
ago was way over on one side, and
Uh-huh.
now they're, and again, well, Elon Musk, same thing. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have ever thought that I would have agreed with anything he said.
Yeah.
And while there are multiple policies that I would not want to put him into an office with, I do agree with a lot of his viewpoints on how he, thinks small businesses should be run, and just in general, being in America, you have certain freedoms, and
Yeah.
just speaking up on that, just it tells me something.
He might be in my cabinet. He might be my secretary of business, my
Or
czar,
science.
my czar on business.
I would definitely put him on the science end,
Right.
let him run NASA and let him get this
Let
thing going.
Let him have a voice in Space Force.
Yeah.
He'd be somewhere.
Oh, he would be.
Like-
It would be awesome, in my opinion. I think.
Elon
He's
is
the only
welcome.
other person that has gotten rockets up into space.
He's
so,
going to
I
be in a
mean-
position to, if he says something stupid, I can look at him and be like, "What? You stupid?" Like that's
Well,
That's
he
the
wouldn't be on
position
that
he'll be
political
in.
side, which is kind of my point. You have places where, and I call them allies. You want to talk about allies? Who's an ally? Well, to the conservative movement, I consider those people to at least be allies. They may not
Shoot,
be on
man.
our team. They may not be a person I choose to run for office, but I'm going to listen to them more because they seem to at least be speaking common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just, and we don't find that on places like CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, NBC, ABC, all these places that have had years to build up some credibility.
You are my ally if you can respectfully disagree with me.
Right.
You're my ally.
Right.
That's what.
And know that I have a voice to speak as well.
That's
It's
right.
not just because you're in one place and because you have a banner of a certain network, then you know more than someone else. People can really be taken to task on that a lot better nowadays with all the platforms we have and people being able to speak. Let's see. I want to get to. Hold on. I'm going to get to Brian Stelter.
Oh, Lord. Help us. Only 30 seconds, please.
The narrative is. I want to show all kinds of opinions.
Which sounds great, but not all opinions are created equal. You think about major newsrooms like CNN that have health departments and desks and operations that work hard on verifying information on COVID-19. And then you have talk show stars like Joe Rogan who just wing it, who make it up as they go along. And because figures like Rogan are trusted by people that don't trust real newsrooms, we have a problem that's much bigger than Spotify, much bigger than any single platform, Kate. But that's what is the heart of this right now.
Yeah, but you're right. It is getting at something bigger that isn't going to be solved in one Joe Rogan video or one statement from Spotify. That's for sure. It's good to see you, Brian. Thank you so much.
The narrative is.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It ain't gonna be solved by 100 episodes of a real newsroom either. I mean, that's for sure.
I mean, and Brian Stelter in CNN, of all places and people to be talking this way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. CNN who?
That's
I mean,
laughable.
CNN's a joke at this point. And if y'all think you're a real newsroom, you're going to be so sadly mistaken because, I mean, 90% viewership has already gone away from you guys.
How are they still on
They're being
air?
funded by the
The They need to run out of money, man.
You
I don't
wonder
know if
why
they
they
ever
can just
gonna
be
run out of money, though.
I mean, viewerships in airports may be great, but it's not going to boost
Look,
your
fine,
viewership everywhere.
CCP, waste your money on CNN. We don't care, all you 3-letter people, man. I'd rather my 3-letter Joe. No, really though, on a real fact, look, speaking of replacements, Joe Rogan and SK Podcast are going to be the replacement of the media. And you know who says that? Salty says that a lot. He is Salty Cracker out there, man. The Salty Army. Telling you, I don't approve of all his colorful language, but I do
Speaking
approve
the
of his
truth, though.
message, man. He's putting the truth out, and so is Joe. And in that video that Brian Skelter was commenting on, referencing, yeah. What Joe was saying was he's going to try in future videos to have a broader set of ideologies there instead of like doing 5 videos with like Robert Malone and Paul McCullough.
Peter McCullough.
Peter McCullough, sorry. But of the same ideology, he was
Right.
looking like he was taking a side. So he wants to look more objective. He wants to look that way. Great, fine, I don't care, but be objective. And that's what CNN has beef with, is that he is being objective and that he's not sticking to one side of the argument like CNN is.
And you know that if he was talking their talk, they would be defending him. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
where it's so
Of course
blatantly
they would.
obvious.
Neil
Ugh.
Diamond. Was it? No, it wasn't Neil Diamond. I'm sorry. Neil Young?
Neil Young. Oh my.
Who joined in? Somebody else. Some other old guy.
Joni Mitchell, which Mom's like, I think I
Old
remember
girl,
her song. I'm
excuse me.
like, I don't
Hey,
know
man.
these people, and I can tell you, young people that use Spotify don't know these people either. So I mean,
They're like
Yeah.
Neil Young.
and I mean, and their point to leave is such a ridiculous reason. All these people
Bruh.
who were, anti-establishment, anti-government,
Back in the day
hippies,
when they were
hey,
making their
leave me alone
yeah.
and get out of my bedroom and all
What-
this kind of stuff. Well, now they want the government to literally mandate that
Whoa.
you take
Let me-
something.
Let me use some Jesus language. You hypocrites. You vipers of snakes. Man, I can't stand it, man. They are so obvious. They're so just predictable, man. It's just ridiculous, man. And to want their little 15 minutes in fame, to go against Joe Rogan. And I mean, this guy's just, I don't agree with a whole hell of a lot that Joe Rogan has to say, but I'm going to tell you one thing. That man has the right to say it.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about that, man. He's got the right to say it. This misinformation language that they're putting out there, I mean, misinformation is part of humanity. So get over it. The only the only place you're not going to find any misinformation is in the Holy Bible. So
Yeah. Everybody at one point figuring out things at some point are going to get something wrong. I mean, that's why I hate the misinformation on any of the parts unless someone
Right.
is deceitfully deceiving someone and trying to push them in a different direction. Obviously
Mhm.
that should not happen.
With
But when we
intent.
have with intent. I mean, it's one thing to just not know or not get the right information. And you're not trying to be deceptive to people.
Right.
But I mean, to just all out say you can't have a voice here.
Uh-huh.
That's where it gets. Everybody's ideas should be able to come in. That's how we get good ideas. Now, some of them are crazy, but most people will know when crazy people make crazy ideas. I mean, a lot of times, it just to
And
shut people down and just
there's-
not give them a voice at all. It's just out of
Wrong.
the Constitution.
That's right.
It's not. I mean, just straight up go by the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the deceit, the intent comes from the side pushing the vaccine, and these types of in this argument. I mean, just my local billboard, we know, and the scientists. I mean, the doctors have told the children are not affected by this.
Yeah.
But yet we have billboards of local clinics that are saying free lollipops for shots for the kids. That to me is just
It's wrong. All the stuff,
diabolical.
especially geared towards kids. And I'm with you on these advertisements and these, bill. I mean, I don't have the article, but I mean, you will not believe how much they spent on just those ads,
Oh,
just
man.
that ads for
I
the
can't
vaccine.
imagine.
And guess what? They didn't pay for them. We
Oh,
did.
there was an ad I
We
heard.
paid for them.
Yeah, last week I'm riding, and a radio ad comes on, and it's promoting the vaccine and Mississippi vaccine ways or something like that is the slogan or whatever. But know your vaccine rights or something like that. But anyway, so at the end they, instead of saying ask your doctor, they said call a certain Mississippi State Department
Of
and
like health or
speak to
something.
help,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Uh-uh.
Instead of saying, just refer to your doctor, check your health hazards out, what you have, let him know, let him or her know, what your, if you might have some problems arise by taking the vaccine. None of that's in normal medicine ads or anything like that. No, when it came to the vaccine, they didn't want you consulting your doctor about it. They wanted you consulting a Mississippi bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and a lot of these people hadn't even gone to, take care of actual COVID patients, those are the people that I want to work with too and want to ask too. These people in these bureaucratic roles, they're just in the bureaucratic roles. They haven't been actually seeing patients.
Yeah.
And having the one-on-one. That's why I listened to those doctors that had like thousands, like
Right.
at the beginning of this. I think it was like maybe in August of 2020. These two doctors came out and were like,
In California, those
they
two
opened
dudes?
up
Yep.
and they were talking about all the studies that they did
Yeah.
themselves. They recorded a lot of this stuff and they started figuring out the medicines that were working and shoo, they cut them off.
Shut down.
Everything
Yeah, that
everything
was
was cut off.
That was the first time for me to actually witness the suppression.
Something like that. Yeah, me too.
Where
'Cause I
those
was like,
guys getting
oh
shut down.
my gosh.
I wish I could remember their names too, man.
Oh, I can find it.
Their
If I
clinic.
find it, y'all see it in the description, and I'll label it.
They
like
were the
that.
guys. I mean, they were the first frontline doctors.
And they're still standing up. They're still they
I
now I believe now with the American.
I hope
frontline
they are.
doctors.
I hope they are.
And I just appreciate everyone because I know this is not a hard. I mean that this is not an easy task. I know that this is, you are putting your whole reputation on the line for something that you believe in and you think is wrong, and you want to fight against it. And they're threatening people, even with going to having a mental exam. I'm trying to think what you call it, like a psych.
I know what you're talking about.
Psych. Anyway, but that teacher that was
We need one right now.
because she just so
I'd
happened
feel
to,
it.
she just so happened to say that ivermectin, would help treat it, and they wanted to send her to a psych evaluation.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
and I
job.
mean, this is getting scary. It's really getting scary. That's one reason why I'm glad we have this platform here, just so that make our own voices heard before they try to silence everybody.
They gonna know where I stand. My children are gonna know where I stood. I'm sorry. That's the only reason I do this. We say it's for the children. Yeah, it's for my children. This little bitty podcast we got right here. I want my little Lizzie cousin, my Wiz Khalifa, my Anna Banana, my Maddie Cakes, my Edie Bug, my Sean Berry. They're gonna know.
Yeah.
Daddy and Kimbo didn't take no crap from the people, from the
Right. We stood up when we saw something going on that we thought was wrong, and that we felt the need to stand up. We weren't scared to stand up, and that's what I want to teach her: is that if you feel this way, you need to be able to do it. You do it peacefully. You do it through the law. You do it through the steps that you're supposed to take to achieve that goal, and you find out what those steps are.
And we're getting a good example through these Canadian truckers, man.
Yeah.
And
I'm so surprised
Canada,
at them
man.
too. I'll be honest with you.
I got pride for them to be my neighbors.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
That's how I stand with Canada. You know.
Oh, I didn't show it, but I'll talk about it. I mean, you even had, they called them Canadian cowboys that were up riding along the border between
Yeah,
U.S.
on
and
the
Canada.
horses.
Yeah,
Seen
and was helping
There
right
was a
there.
video I wanted to get out too that they were speaking at, I guess, a hotel that they were at, and one of the leaders of it was speaking to some of the truckers, and he was talking about how they were doing some negotiations with the local law enforcement there to open that lane back up. You know, so they were. I mean, think about it. Could you do that with a BLM leader?
No, because they're all going in
Would they
12
have
different
opened up a lane?
directions.
It don't. But that they were willing to negotiate.
Yeah.
Now look, these guys, and I love it, and I hope I pray that their strength and courage stays right where it is, to stay solid on, we are not leaving until this absolutely does a 180.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We don't want a 90. We don't want any kind of, we'll negotiate to open up a lane, to let some border traffic happen up there in Canada. But as far as leaving this premises, leaving this, it's not happening until Trudeau steps down, until some big things and the mandates are completely dropped. And I hope and I'm praying, my prayers are for you guys in that convoy that remains your standing.
And how they've inspired this to happen all over the world. I mean, Australia's same thing. And my prayers are just with everybody.
America's
that's
trying to
for
get
freedom.
involved, and they're going to go through Give, Send, Go. GoFundMe.
Give, Send, Go, y'all.
GoFundMe can go.
I mean, they've already taken somebody else down because they were saying that they were wanting to get the doctors to prescribe someone ivermectin, so they literally took down the GoFundMe page. It's like, y'all should not be able to do that.
Yeah, man.
So please, if you have a need, if you have a fundraising event, do not go to the people who fight against us.
Yeah.
Go with the people who are fighting for us.
Look, man,
Give, Send, Go. This is a free shout out to Give, Send, Go. We don't have any sponsors here, but this is just like Gab, who's wanting to step up and do all he can. And and what Gab can do, they have a lot of platforms. They have a lot of payment platforms too, where they could, they can help get this ball rolling. We need the people that are on our side to be supported, you guys. Let's fight for our side. Let's get bold. Let's move forward. Let's not just be on the defensive. Let's be on the offensive in the right, passionate, peaceful way.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you guys for listening and staying with us this whole time. What is going on right here is all of our platforms that you can follow us on. We are very active in all of these. I check every single notification every single time you guys want to respond, and we respond back and forth. I've actually gotten some good conversations, started on a couple of videos. I appreciate everyone who reaches out. I appreciate everyone that just watches and shares. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, follow. We will be doing this again next week.
We sure will. We'll be right here.
All right.
Put your thinking caps on, man.
Y'all
Let's
take care.
reason
Speak
together.
out. Speak the truth.
That's right. Peace.
Say what's on your mind.